My name is Courtney Taylor. I have been at Redeemer since about fall of 2012, so it's been a while now. We were at Cornerstone when I first started, really small and intimate, which is kind of like what we're back to experiencing now. And I have been, I'm currently on staff part-time, so I work when we do have services. I work during the 4:00 service in the nursery and have loved that, and have also served as the deacon of orphan care at one point. I did that for a little over 2 years, and then just recently stepped down from that position so someone else could take over. So back in April, I was supposed to get married. The date was set for April 18th, had it all planned. We had gotten engaged in January, wanted a quick engagement, and obviously even that was out of our control, which is funny. We did end up getting married June 12th, so it happened. I can't even begin to describe how good the Lord was to us on that day. And so that, to me, having that day and seeing so many people that care about us and that love us come together to make sure that it was a day, worth celebrating and worth looking back on without being sad about it. I mean, it was so perfect. And so that wouldn't have happened without the church and without the body. And so that was, just the most important thing that happened. I just remember I kept saying that I didn't want to look back on our wedding day and just not want to remember it or not want to think about it. And now that's not going to happen because it was great. And so that, you see when you're in intimate community with people, I just kept thanking people and being like, I don't know why people are doing this for us. And it was like, yeah, this is what the church is. This is what community is. And so it was all just, I think that you could probably ask anyone who was there, and it was a lovely little evening. And so it was great. So, yeah. So obviously there are major things that have changed, but those important things where you ask people to show up and they do, that still remains the same. And so that's been just a really good thing to see overall. The Lord is definitely refining me, mostly in humility, because he knows that I need probably more of that than most people. So yeah, I think at one point I remember talking to my counselor, and I was like, I don't really think I need any more refining. I'm good. I'm done being refined. And he just rolled his eyes at me. I've been reading Romans 8 a lot, which sounds like a very, that's the Christian thing to say. Well, I've been really, this has been stirring this chapter, whatever. But it's true. So I've just been going back to it over and over again pretty often recently. And if people aren't familiar with it, it's all about, the responding to your flesh or to your spirit, and, making choices with either each of those things, or, what are we working toward, and how are we doing that work according to our flesh or our spirit. And then it goes on to talk about just that our present pain and sufferings are really nothing compared to the glory that is to come. And so I think that would be, if I'm going to get specific about my hope, it's going to be that, just to the glory that is to come, from the Lord. I don't think that it's something that we can even begin to fathom. And so that must be good then. It even says later that all of creation is groaning, because this isn't our natural state. This isn't how we're supposed to be. We're not supposed to be, we're not supposed to be in pain, but just because we're Christians doesn't mean that we won't be. And so probably even the opposite. I think looking forward to the glory of the Lord is definitely something that I'm gonna hope for. There's so many days and so many moments where I'm just like, Lord, I don't understand why you did this. Why are you so good to me? Like, I don't deserve it. And I know that none of us do, and there's nothing that we could do to deserve that. But there are also plenty of other hard things I could be going through that I'm not. And that's not to say that things won't happen, obviously, but there's so many times when I'm just absolutely floored by how good God is to me. And I just don't, it's a lot of that humility that he brings me back to when Patrick and I first started dating. And so we're like, sitting together at church now, and everybody's like, what's going on? But I remember I looked at him and I was like, if I just start crying during worship, it's okay. Just ignore it. It's just going to happen. And so the Lord has just been showing that more and more to me of just who he is. And it's pretty overwhelming sometimes. So yes, I definitely have never felt a lack of the Lord's faithfulness, even in the, really crazy time that we're in and everything. So, yeah.
Who would win in a fight between the three senior pastors?
Joel. Maybe, people underestimate Josh, though. He can be scrappy. So, definitely not Jeff. You can tell him I said that.